Morning, glory, evening, grace, brethren, and sisters. Glad to have everybody back along with us here with a Temperance Awakening. And now, with our vaping lectures, looking at day number 23, our 23rd vaping lecture, actually day 16 of our quit. And so today we're looking at meditating and praying about your quit. And so now getting right into things, because this is going to be one of our longer lectures, close your eyes, relax your body, and breathe. And that's all that meditation is. It doesn't have to go complicated or weird at all. And of course, we're going to talk about prayer in just a moment. Meditation is a form of mindfulness that helps you kick nicotine in a number of ways. It naturally and beneficially activates a dopamine pathway in your brain in the same way that an addictive drug, such as nicotine, does. It helps you curb urges by distracting your mind, giving you a new way to relax and manage stress without vaping. Deep breathing also helps your lungs stronger, helps make your lungs stronger. Several studies conducted over the past decade investigated the benefits of meditation to kick the nicotine habit, all with positive results, as well as prayer. Like in one study published in Tobacco and Nicotine Research in 2016, researchers randomly assigned 44 adult smokers either to a meditation group or to a control group that did primarily breathing exercises. Both groups could smoke as much or as little as they wanted. The meditation group followed a guided meditation for 20 minutes every day for 2 weeks. At the end of the study, only the meditators experienced a reduction in cravings and cigarette use. The study didn't state the average drop in cigarette smoke daily, but noted that it was significant. And you can meditate in a number of different ways, like one that we just mentioned, breathing meditation. Breathing meditation. You sit quietly, just close your eyes, relax, and breathe deeply and slowly, and think about positive things. And then, like we mentioned, prayer, faith-based, prayer, and like we just mentioned there about the studies, and like I've done, like a lot of my own personal study, like with this ministry of Temperance Awakening, even like secular, non-religious, like therapists and, scientists, physicians, other people, psychiatrists, and so forth, they have even noted, like how prayer is one of the best things for the brain and, one of the best ways, to kick bad habits like, tobacco, vaping, alcohol, pornography, etc. Because prayer, even, of course, spiritually, but also, mentally, prayer is, one of the most powerful things, that you can do. And say those prayers. That can be, a repetitive prayer, like our textbook certainly says. The book of Psalms, that's certainly, something that's really, really good. Or like, other Bible verses, that Bible verses that we have. Like we mentioned quotes, like some previous lectures. That can be quotes, by some of your, faith heroes, by, your own personal minister, Sunday school teacher or whatever. But, we know that prayer certainly is very, very powerful. And, faith-based ministry such as this, they do have, it's proven, they have higher, quit rates with things, like tobacco, vaping, alcohol, pornography, etc., as opposed to secular ones. And we'll look at a few verses about this. I encourage you to write these down, especially if you're faith-based, keep note of these. These are some that you should use with, your prayer and meditation. Philippians chapter 4 and verse 6. So that's Philippians chapter 4 and verse 6. Be careful for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known unto God. Do this with thanksgiving. Lord, I can quit vaping. I can have the victory. I can have a better, more wholesome habit. I can be a better example, to other people. John chapter 15 and verse number 7. If ye abide in me, and my words abide in you, ye shall ask what you will, and it shall be done unto you. It's a very powerful there, that from the Lord Jesus Christ. If we abide in Him, and His words abide in us, we can ask whatever we will, and it'll be done. That's a great promise there, to quit vaping, or to quit some type of bad habit. So that's John chapter 15 and verse 7. Now we have 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse 17. Just a short 3-word verse that I use very often in my ministry. 1 Thessalonians 5:17 simply says, pray without ceasing. That means always having a heart and a mind focused on the Lord. And we're going to look at some other things like moving meditation and so forth, that goes right along with this. Pray without ceasing, 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse number 17. And as we said, that means always having your heart and your mind focused on God. And that's certainly a great principle for anybody, but especially if, you want to kick a bad habit like vaping. Always be in that spirit of prayer. You might hear that. Like I often, quote those great revivalists in my ministry, like of the 1700s and 1800s, time frame. And, that's something they used to always say, like, remain in the spirit of prayer. That's remaining in the spirit of prayer. To pray without ceasing. James chapter 5 and verse 16. So that's James chapter 5 and verse number 16. Confess your faults one to another and pray one for another that ye may be healed. The effectual fervent prayer of a righteous man availeth much. And so like we mentioned now, having a quit team, have somebody that you can confide in, not somebody that's going to gossip, like if you're, especially maybe more so like if you're a young person, but really anybody, young, middle-aged or elderly, whatever, have somebody that you can confide in, somebody on your quit team, that could be a parent, a sibling, a relative, what have you, somebody at church. But like it says there, confess your faults one to another. Be honest. With at least one person, might have a couple of people that you can confide in. Say, I'm having trouble, with vaping, and I want to kick this habit. Confess that fault. Say, I hate it that I got addicted to this, but I want to quit. Pray. The effectual fervent prayer of a righteous man availeth much. And one last one here in the book of Jeremiah, chapter number 33. Jeremiah 33:3. Jeremiah chapter 33 and verse number 3 says, call unto me, and I will answer thee, and shew thee great and mighty things which thou knowest not. See, that's why faith-based programs are more successful than secular programs, right there. See, we can call unto God, and He will answer us. See, and there's great and mighty things that we can do. Great and mighty things that we can do that, we didn't even know, that we could do. And so now continuing on here for the couple of things, like we also have transcendental meditation. This is to promote a state of relaxed awareness, mentally repeating a mantra for 20 minutes. And many studies have found that this method of meditation proves most beneficial for people with anxiety. So if you have anxiety, try that one. Muscle relaxation. While lying flat on your back, slowly tense and relax each muscle group, starting with your toes and working your way gradually to the top of your head. And then there's guided meditation. This method usually features a soothing voice that leads you through certain mental scenes to help free you from the grip of your own thoughts. Now, there's a lot of those things on YouTube. Like you can, look those up, get some self-help things, and even also, some faith-based things. That's also a good idea while doing this. You said you can find those for free on YouTube. Find, some prayers. They've got them short, to very long. Like I've seen them for, 2 hours plus. And, Bible verses and things that you can have quoted, that can help you. And guided meditations are great for people that have a hard time with other forms of meditation. Because like we said, the voice itself keeps you focused on the meditation. Like if you're a person that, is just starting out, that may not have had much of a prayer life before, never had a prayer list or a prayer journal, you might want to start with that. Start with something like on YouTube, write down some prayers by other people, like some things like we just mentioned, like in the Bible, start to write those down, listen, and like I said, start like with the, like maybe things on YouTube, or, you might have a cassette or a CD or something, with something, like with Bible verses or prayers or some self-help programs or whatever. But eventually, though, I encourage you, to kind of go beyond that and do it on your own. Have your own, prayer journal and things. And then moving meditation, this is for very active or restless people that can have a hard time sitting down and just staying still. Meditation can feel intimidating, but even if you're running around, just 60 seconds of closing your eyes and repeating one of your calming mantras counts as meditation. Think the phrase, hold it in your mind, and slowly repeat it. And like we said, that could also be like a certain prayer, or a Bible verse, or a quote. And then, even if, you're somebody that wants to go walking, You know, like with smartphones and tablets and things, you know, you can do like what we mentioned. You know, you can get some Bible verses or prayers, you know, like on YouTube, you know, put those like in earphones and, you know, go for a walk or a jog or what have you. And so meditation is a very simple process, and once you figure out what works best for you, it becomes a great tool, you know, in quitting. You know, certainly very, very helpful. And now we'll have our team talk here to parents talking about guided meditation. And after age 9, children have an awareness of their own thoughts, so teenagers definitely can benefit from meditation too. You know, many adolescents do suffer from attention disorders, though, so short guided meditations are going to be the best thing for them starting out, even if they don't necessarily have attention disorders. You know, a lot of young people, you know, they're people that just like to keep going, you know, they don't like to sit, you know, and do things. And even, you know, kids that are raised in church, you know, they can certainly have a lot of issues with sitting and praying and so forth. So give them a hand, you know, like with something we mentioned, you know, like on YouTube. You know, play something there, something, you know, pre-recorded that takes them through a meditation exercise, you know, maybe just for a couple minutes starting out. You know, like I'd certainly if you're faith-based, you know, as a parent, you know, maybe have your kid, you know, listen to a prayer or some Bible verses, and then also have them just read, you know, a chapter or two from the Bible. You know, and do that along with them, you know, sit there with them, you know, listen to them, you know, read the Bible or whatever. And so, you know, just do that, you know, maybe, you know, just a few minutes a day to get them started. And now with our assignments there, continue with the hand-to-mouth exercises and the nicotine replacement therapy if you're doing that. And then, as you go about your day, you know, practice, you know, prayer, meditation, you know, on the move at least 3 times a day. And so now, looking at in our quit kit, let's see what we have here, if we have anything extra. And yeah, that's kind of just things that we mentioned there, like in our textbook, page 181. That's just to practice the meditation, you know, practice that in conjunction, you know, with some visualization exercises, and also know that H2M hand-to-mouth, that's a moving meditation as well. So, like I said, at least though, try to start there for at least 5 minutes, you know, doing some type of meditation or prayer. If you can go beyond that, you know, wonderful. And also, you know, practice meditation on the move at least, you know, 3 times a day. And so, that's all for today. And tomorrow, well, the day 17, we'll be looking at stretch your quit. So that'll be tomorrow. So you come on back and be with us, and certainly look forward to seeing you then. Until then, and until that ever kind of shadows flee away, I'm Dr. Cooper, and I love you, and I appreciate you.